And notice how I played taunt on the mid first and then taunt on the back lane because I want this guy here to stay alive. We lead with the Fallen Longsword and I don't take any reflected damage from that. What's going on, Axie fam? Elijah here, back with another video. And today I have one I am very excited about. What a crazy week it has been in the Axie Infinity universe. So many announcements. Huge $1 million prize pool for 2 separate tournaments at AxieCon, both a classic tournament and an Origin one. Honestly, I'm personally more excited about Origin just because I know it's the future, although you know I have a special place in my heart for V2 as well. The bridge has reopened, land staking is here. There are so many positives happening back to back from Sky Mavis. Really incredible progress being made, and I gotta say, I love where we're at with Origin. Obviously not perfect, but strides better than the last patch or two. It's a game that I really enjoy where the teams have to develop. There are ways to divert your opponent and healing matters a little more, shield matters a little more, rather than just flat out killing your opponent as quickly as possible. Of course, there's still styles of builds that do that, but we are getting closer and closer to the main launch. Oh, and the other announcement, big prize pool for the alpha season, which I mean, this was completely unexpected and I was super happy to see this because we needed this. We needed something to fight for, to compete for. I think this is massive that they're putting some money into the pool for an alpha, rewarding the ones that are here fighting to learn the game and improve. And you know, 1,000 to 10,000 are gonna get $46 per player, a few AXS, which could be worth way more one day. And then the same thing here for rank 1, 500 AXS is heaps. That would be over 50 grand once crossing back over an all-time high. So there's a lot to compete for. We're gonna learn a lot over this next month. I couldn't be happier with this string of events. And to me, it feels like Sky Mavis was saying, listen, wait till we fix the bridge. Once that's done, we're gonna unleash announcement after announcement, and this is what we needed. So I want to jump into the build I'm playing today, which is going to utilize these 2 birds as well as a really nifty plant up front. Obviously, we are at the beginning of an alpha season, so this is not a flushed out build entirely. There's so much to be learned, and I'm sure tons is going to change over the next few weeks. So don't go crazy with buying Axies. This one in particular is going to run around $60. This bird is 10 bucks. This one here with Cottontail is the most expensive, but I don't really think you even need Cottontail with this build necessarily. You can definitely fit in some other bird tails for cheaper. And then I have my plant up front, also $10, but there's only one of these on the marketplace. So if you want to switch that out for Carrot or just look for some other adjustments, feel free to do so. I will say, I think Clover is very important for this build and a super strong card. As far as performance, I climbed up to the top 500 with this very quickly, pretty much on the first day, but I didn't play much then, and I didn't play much the last 2 days either because I've been very busy. So we kind of just got surpassed on the leaderboard, but I will confidently say it's an easy top 1,000 climb and probably a lot higher. I'm going to keep using this and see kind of how far I go until I start to need to maybe make bigger adjustments. But if you're looking at a starting place for a comp, these birds I think are fantastic. You'll see, you know, triple blackmail at the top level with eggshell across the board. And I'm just gonna briefly break down the team, but then I wanna show you an awesome replay of a game that I had recently where I can highlight some game strategic decisions. This is another game of inches where if you make a misstep or if you don't try to find the very best path each turn, you're gonna get outplayed, you're gonna lose. So you need to be aware of what you're doing every single time you spend an energy. I don't have any fantastic charms, so I'm just maxing out the health up front. We're all in the building phase of trying to get better runes and charms. But as I mentioned, Clover is very key here because I have eggshell to draw away my opponent. I can very often buy time in terms of my plant's longevity by playing eggshell on the mid or back line, keeping the plant alive, playing Clover, which allows me to start to heal up. If I get all my Axies up to like 2 or 3 or 4 leafs, then you're talking about some serious healing power there. And you'll notice that I've got double Mavis on the eyes, another very popular card at the highest level. It's just super good. It's an extra body on the battlefield, which you can use either to place in front of your Axies as a defensive play to buy yourself some extra time, or you can put it on the back line, try to keep it safe, where it's going to give you an extra energy essentially each round. So it pays for itself after one round, and then you kind of can get really great use for a few rounds in terms of getting to play more cards. The pigeon post here, which is going to add blackmail to your opponent's hand. Now this is huge for a few reasons. It's great to clog up their options. So if I play 2 blackmails in a round, then they're really only going to draw like 3 cards because 2 of them are going to be blackmail. So that can be a complete game changer in the mid to late stages especially. It really is situational though. You're going to probably sometimes not want to use pigeon post and not give them the blackmail because they can also use that against you to divert you from the kill that you're going after. Let's say it's their front line, and then they pull you away to their back line to buy themselves more time. So it's very tricky. You do need to learn how to master it. Double talk can sometimes win you games. When you get down to 1 or 2 Axies left for them and you can hit them with a disable and then maybe play, you know, double Mavis or something where you're not going to keep attacking into them so the sleep effect will happen. It's another one that can completely shift the tide for you. So let's jump into the replay that I want to look at. And we're up against another double bird user, but they're on the front and midline with a big beefy reptile closer on the back line, and he gets Mavis round 1, which is a really good draw for him. You can see this bird over here because he's going to start collecting that extra energy going forward. I draw pigeon post round 1 and chip away at the front liner and also get that blackmail card there in his hand. So you'll see here that he's going to have 4 cards incoming. I also hit him with an eggshell, pull him back here on my bird. My plant's health is going to stay completely maxed out. I also had a cottontail, little owl, so I actually drop him down to 112 HP. Here we go. There's the 4 cards that he drew, and he does decide to pull me away from his bird playing blackmail, which makes sense. It's going to go and target his Mavis on the back line. You can see here the Mavis also gave him a free energy card in pigeon post for him. That's what it's going to do for you every round it stays alive, is take away an energy cost on one of your cards randomly, which is really powerful. So the taunt goes on the bird. He plays another eggshell on the second bird. Now this is something to note. Right now, if you put taunt on 2 Axies, it's not going to prioritize the one that's closest necessarily. It's going to prioritize the one that you cast the taunt on last. So if he would have played taunt on the bird first and then the blackmail, I would have attacked his Mavis bird back here. But because he played taunt on the bird and then taunt on the midliner, I'm going to end up attacking his midline bird instead. He gets the free pigeon post. He's hitting my bird on the back, but I am basically going to have a nice round here in the sense that he doesn't really do any significant damage. So cactus on his midline, there you can see that that's the bird that we're hitting. Kataro is also going to go directly to it, even though it says attack 1 random enemy. If he has taunt, random attacks will always prioritize the Axie that has played taunt, as we see here. And then finally, little owl for some damage. Both of his birds are weak, but we haven't quite snagged a kill yet. We're both using diversion tactics. Summons another Mavis at the midline. So the one on the back dies, the one at the mid comes into play. So his energy stacking has been fantastic. I summon a Mavis, play blackmail on it, play a second blackmail to get rid of those. And I think essentially what I chose to do here was say, what's more important to me, keeping a bird alive or getting the clover healing going? So I decided to play the bird first, get the blackmails out of my hand, put taunt on it, and guarantee that the clover is going to stay healthy, alive, and start putting healing onto my Axies. I think that was kind of the best way I could have gone about doing this. So if I can keep my plant alive here, that's going to be huge. If he dies, it won't be ideal, but at least the leaves will start to go onto my birds. So there's the pigeon post attacking my taunted Mavis. Kataro hits 2 different Axies, so he gains an energy from it. Summons another Mavis on the back line, plays blackmail on it. It's going to divert me even more, and also throw shield on it with Scaly Spoon, but my plant does live. So now I'm going to play eggshell on my bird. I wiped out his Mavis, following up there with pumpkin, I believe, for extra shield and some card draw, and finishing off with Peacemaker, which will finally secure my first kill on his bird. So we actually are a little bit ahead maybe at this point, although you can see that all these Axies are weak. Plant goes down, bird on the back has 78 HP, his has 95, another Mavis, but he does shield up his midline with 50 armor. Doesn't attack into my midline, so I don't get the card draw. And now I have another interesting decision. I decide to go with double talk first, and I believe I'm just gonna go ahead and lock up the kill. Oh, you know what? I decided to maybe split his draw here a little bit. I don't know if this is the best idea, but I'm experimenting with keeping these Axies alive, putting this to sleep, and letting him maybe draw some dead cards as opposed to essentially essentially a more full hand on his backliner. I know I can kill this bird pretty comfortably next round, so I decided to just put him to sleep, play my secret on this fallen card here for some extra shield on my midline. I had the option to hold one of these last cards by using an energy, but I decided against it. I don't think either one was really that relevant to keep around, so I wasted energy, but sometimes this might be the move to make in this game. We'll have to see as time goes on. Kataro gives him an extra value. Tiny Dino for 102 damage. Okay, so now we finally get our second kill. I'm gonna divert with Eggshell on my back lane. And notice how I played Taunt on the mid first and then Taunt on the back lane, because I want this guy here to stay alive, this pink bird, simply because he's got 4 leaves. He's getting significant healing at the end of each round, whereas this one wouldn't. So I don't want this guy to die first. I want him to try to become my closer, and instead let's let go of the white bird on the back. I go up to 65, so that's 16 HP that you end up getting with 4 leaves. You're gonna get 4 at the end of each turn, and that health goes a very long way, especially in the later stages of a game, which, as I mentioned earlier, can be a game of inches. So he is going to end up attacking my back lane. Pigeon Post, 1 HP left. I'm buying all the time I can. Really needed that. And he actually doesn't have a way to kill, because these revenge cards would end up going into the frontmost Axie. Since they come out of the spirit land, they don't come from this Axie directly. They always just go to the one that is closest to the front. So I get one more round of good card draw on both of these. He plays Mavis. Now he's the one trying to buy time, and he puts shield on at 72. So now with this draw, I think I have to disrupt his cards as much as possible. Luckily, I get 2 Pigeon Posts, which will be 2 blackmails on him. So there's one, and he has Scaly Spoon, which reflects 50% of the shield lost. So you can see here that my bird actually took damage by attacking into his Mavis. I'm getting weaker and weaker. I'm gonna go ahead and shield up my back line, get rid of the blackmail in my hand, which is gonna put taunt on my back lane. Can I heal up my mid lane with the 4 leaves, buy more time, and perhaps snag a win? Also, I needed that shield to finish off his Mavis, because otherwise I would have taken 7 damage from the Scaly Spoon reflection, which would have killed me. So very, very meticulous, route that I have to take here to make sure that I don't accidentally kill one of these, or that I miss out on future value. We're back up to 53 HP. We've got Taunt on our back lane. He draws Tiny Dino for the kill. The revenge card's gonna go to the front, which would put me at 3 HP, I believe. Gets rid of both blackmails. Innocent Lamb for the Scaly Spoon, and I think because he knows he can't get the kill with the Fallen Sword, he's actually gonna resort to Scaly Spoon here for 70 shield and reflect damage, which makes sense, because otherwise, if he doesn't shield up here and he can't get the kill, well, then I'll probably be able to finish him off next round. So he takes the perfect line. He's gonna play Scaly Spoon next. He's now up to a little over 200 total health, including the shield. And I know that he's gonna reflect 50% of the shield that's lost. So let's say he loses all 70, right? 35 damage is going into my bird. Also, knowing that it's gonna take over 200 damage to kill him, I don't have that. I only have 180 if I include both of my revenge swords and Little Owl. So attacking into him actually isn't gonna do anything for me here. It's just gonna make me take more damage and get me closer to dying. So instead, I'm gonna play the Fallen Shield, play Mavis up front. Again, that's to buy time. He has to kill the Mavis, then he can start doing damage on my Axie. I'm gonna heal back up a little bit, and now I'm just like, please do not get a bunch of damage. He does draw Kataro. 2 hits go into my bird. My Mavis is still alive though, so he doesn't get the 2-for-1 kill there. Scaly Spoon again redraws it back up with that 70 plus armor. Blood Moon hits. I go to 37 HP, and this is the final play that secures the win. I wasn't exactly sure of the math, but I know that I don't want to attack into that full shield because it's going to reflect half of its armor into my bird. So instead, we lead with the Fallen Longsword, which chips his shield down from 72 to 22. And I don't take any reflected damage from that because it was a revenge card, came from the spirit world, not from my Axie. And now we'll see here that I'm only gonna take 11 damage, right? Half of this shield, because I'm gonna go ahead and smack into it. That's gonna put me at 26 HP. I'm still alive. I have enough to finish him off here with the Little Owl, and we squeeze out a win on a very, very close game. And I hope that this one can show you the depth, some of the complexity, and how if I make one little misstep in those sequences in the last few rounds, I'm toast. So Axie Infinity Origin, I think we're getting closer and closer to that intricate, in-depth, in-game mechanics that we want. Not just the depth of building a team and the runes and charms, but we want to see more activity where you need to take those perfect lines, you need to outsmart your opponent. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Things are heating up, and I'm gonna hit that top 100 spot pretty soon. I'll let you know what changes with this team or what I try differently, and we're gonna experiment with a lot of Axies. I'm gonna be pumping out the content. Meditate's YouTube channel will be pumping out the content. Subscribe to me, Ryan, the Meditate YouTube channel, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.